How's it going, gents? Here we are today, a special day, here with my humble 2014 WR250R on its 10th birthday. That's right, 10 years old today, my humble WR. I'll show some footage of me picking it up at the Yamaha store in Melbourne. All right guys, first start of the WR. Hasn't been started yet. Oh yeah, 000. City Yamaha, which is no longer there anymore. Picked it up, it had 00000 on the odometer, not even a kilometer on it. I don't know how, I guess it's no pre-delivery, just fresh. Started her up for the first time and here we are nearly 60,000 kilometers later. Engine hasn't been touched. She is just running like a top. So I'll give a little bit of a history on the bike, what I've done to it, the adventures I've taken on it, and just why I think this is the greatest motorcycle in the world. I've owned, so I counted it up the other day, I think it was 16 plus motorcycles, and this is the best goddamn one. The WR250R. I'll give you a run through of what I've done to it. We'll jump on this single track and I'll tell you some adventures I went on. And while we're doing that, I've also got some Fox gear. Yes, Fox is making adventure gear. So I'll just do a small review of the gear as well that I just picked up today. Also, it's triple ply Gore-Tex. It is the best Gore-Tex, but it is motorcycle gear that feels like you're just wearing a raincoat. It's exactly what I've been looking for in motorcycle gear. None of this 20 billion pockets and 50,000 things you don't need. Minimalistic. It'll break the wind, it'll stop rain, but it's lightweight and it feels like you're wearing nothing. It's brilliant. Fox adventure gear. But back to the WR. My humble, now 10-year-old WR250R, man. What a machine. So, 10 years ago, I was riding road bikes. I had a 636, had just been stolen, just bought an S1000RR, very into road bikes. I'd ridden dirt bikes as a kid, but that's it, like small MX bikes, that's about it. No real intention on getting a dirt bike, until, as a lot of adventure motorcyclists will do, I watched The Long Way Round with Ewan McGregor, and it changed everything, man, as it did with a lot of adventure motorcyclists. I got the adventure bug, man. The idea of long distance riding, camping, off-road. Oh my God, I was hooked. So, I started looking at bikes. Originally, I was looking at a KLR 650 because I thought you need a big bike to do big Ks and stuff. So I thought KLR 650, and my goal was to do the Unadata track, which is an outback road. It's just a dirt road, it's not hard. But I'd done it in high school in a coach when we went to Ayers Rock a long time ago, and I knew it was a really cool road, very adventurous. The little stations along are really cool. That was my goal. Get a dirt bike, do the Unadata track. Ended up doing the Unadata track. I've done it like 3 times now, and I've done way more than the Unadata track. But so originally I was going to get a KLR 650. I made the mistake of walking into the Yamaha dealership first before going to Kawasaki, so we never even tried a freaking KLR 650. I saw the WR250R. I just had a feeling, man. I don't know why. I walked in there. I'd never ridden one. So I bought it, picked it up a couple days later. I came out here where I'm going, Macedon Pine Forest. Rode for the first time, dropped a whole bunch, broke a whole bunch of shit on it. And that's what started the modifying, basically. I bought so much stuff for this bike so quickly. But that's what really started it all, was just literally watching the long way round and wanting a bike to just do some adventure riding on. And that's why I bought this thing. I was worried at the start, I'm like, it's a 250, it won't be able to sit on the highway. I've gone around Australia on this thing multiple times. 2 Simpson crossings, been multiple different state trips, Canberra, Sydney. I've done 60,000 Ks on it, and I will remind you, it's not 60,000 Ks of commuting. I've never commuted on this bike. Every kilometer of this 60,000 Ks has been fun trips, either trips, off-roading. I've done track days, I've done supermoto days, I have a set of Warp 9 supermoto wheels for this bike. Every kilometer has been fun. Most of it has been at like 10,000 RPM and wheelies, so the fact that this bike is still working is amazing. But yeah, so I bought this bike, and then little did I know, Nerb and Osmotica at the time were also planning a trip, and had also gotten basically adventure bikes. Somehow we got the bug at the same time, and we went to Little Desert and did a sand kind of shakedown because they were planning on doing the Simpson. I didn't even know that at the time, that they were planning on doing the Simpson. And basically we went to Little Desert, did some camping. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll come also. And I originally planned to come on this WR, but it got stolen, which I don't know if everyone knows this, but this bike actually got completely stolen. And I'll stop here for a second. Kind of hard to talk mid little flat track, but this bike got completely stolen. My S1000, so I had my 636 stolen in 2013, and in 2015 my S1000RR and this WR250R was stolen and gone. So for like 3 months this bike was gone. I got paid out insurance like it was stolen and not recovered on both bikes, the S1000RR and the this bike. They were recovered in like a meth lab, and this was on a farm in Gippsland. The S1000RR was parted out and was too many parts to replace basically to make it viable, so that was still just written off. And then this bike, they'd said it had been crashed on the farm out there, and they just remained written off, and I didn't hear from it again until like another month went by, and one of my subscribers has said, hey, is that your WR250R on an auction site? The insurance company had recovered it or something, or the police, and they were auctioning it off. So I bought it back. I bought this bike brand new for 9,000 Australian dollars. Got paid out my same $9,000, and then was able to buy it back for $4,000 I bought it back for, which you'd think is a bargain, but this was a repairable write-off. It had been written off, and if you know something about trying to get a bike re-registered when it's a write-off in Australia, oh my god, don't do it. It was hell. My cousin Dean did a lot of work to get this bike re-registered. It was a shit ton of work. Replacing a lot of things, showing evidence that we replaced things, all that crap, because it'd been stripped off a lot of shit, all this crap. But after like I think 3 to 6 months of doing stuff, we got it re-registered, and she was back. So I've always owned it, no one else has owned it except for the insurance company for a bit. But at the time it was gone, so that's why I got the 690. I did my time with the KTM 690, and on 2 trips it had needed 2 new engines. My 690 needed a new motor after the Simpson, so did Osmotica's, and on the second trip obviously it completely blew up, so I needed another motor. So out of 2 trips I needed 2 complete rebuilds on the 690. So I said, frick that, I'm not taking a freaking 690 on a trip. So when we decided to do Goog's Track, I took this bike, which Goog's Track is like a mini Simpson Desert in the South Australian desert. 300 k's of sand, point to point with fuel. It was brilliant. Then I did a Simpson crossing in 2019, and then I did another Simpson crossing all the way up to Townsville, our Great Northern trip, 2 years ago. So this bike has done some massive trips. I also did the WR rally in Sydney. It's just done it all, man. I've also done track days, Broadford, I've done supermoto days. It has been an absolute freaking joy to ride. But I know what you want to hear. What's gone wrong with it? So I'll just park up here. I'll switch to my phone, and we'll show quickly, because there's a lot of things. Not a lot of things gone wrong with it, but a lot of things have changed on this bike. Obviously, if you ever own a WR250R, they're quite fun to modify. So let's just find a quiet spot, and I'll tell you what I've changed and what's gone wrong on the bike. I'm going to start with the quickest list, and that's things that have gone wrong with the bike. Now, factory things that I didn't modify that have gone wrong with the bike, I can only actually think of like one. and that is the, so this side, the the automatic cam chain tensioner. That little gooby there, I think it is. That started making a little bit of noise. When I started the bike, it would kind of make a little bit of noise and then go away. I was about to go on a big trip, so I replaced it. I think that's actually it. I think that's the only thing that's actually going wrong with the bike. As I said before, I'm 60,000 Ks. I did the 40,000 K valve check. Yamaha did it. Said it was in spec. Completely fine. Didn't need any adjustments. So that's it. That's all. I've done services every about 10,000 Ks or so. Just oil changes, air filter changes. I changed the coolant once. I should have probably done that more often. Once in 2019, I did a full flush of the coolant and I think brake fluids. I'm on my second set of discs. I have changed the wheels. These are XLs. They were just for a Christmas present for myself. I got XLs. Didn't really need them. The DIDs are pretty strong from factory, but the XLs are better. What I've changed is a lot. I've been through a lot. 2 tanks, bunch of things, 2 exhausts, but I'll quickly go through it. I did have an FMF exhaust with a power bomb. And a programmer. It had issues. I didn't like it. I've gone back to stock header. I like having covers over things, so I like the stock cover over that pipe. The GYTR exhaust with the big heat shield that isn't on it right now, but the big heat shield, brilliant. O2 sensor reinstalled. No more FMF programmer. Brilliant. Doesn't need anything else. Honestly, feels like it's got just as much power as the FMF and everything. Smashed a headlight in Goog's track, chucked in a $2 eBay freaking light and some foam. Somehow, it still works and it's still there. Steady lights up the top. They're just on the high beam, they come on. Brilliant, need more light. DRC indicators. I've been through more indicators on this bike than any other bike. I've probably had about 10 sets. These DRCs are still working. The tough lights are the best, but I don't think they make them anymore. But DRC smoked tail light as well. RidingWithTom number plate. That was my 30th birthday to myself. What else? Seat concept seat. This is the low seat. Also, if you'll notice, I have a YamaLink lowering kit. The reason why I've lowered the WR is because when I had the KTM 690, my wife wanted to try and ride this bike. So I lowered it as much as I could. We rode around together. It was great. She doesn't really ride any much. Dirt riding's not her thing. So I was going to raise it back up with the stock thing. I put the stock link back in it. I hated it. I like it being low. It gives me more confidence. It's a better riding position. When it's raised up, the seat height goes a little bit more like this and kind of pushes you into the bars. I like it how it is. But with that comes the WR's biggest problem, which I believe is because of that lowering link. And the biggest problem I've had on this bike is the chain eating the swing arm. A very common occurrence. It happens right kind of up there where the slider is, right at the end. It eats through the slider and then it eats through the swing arm. I've gone through a full swing arm, literally to the needle bearings where the bearing is. Luckily, my mate Brendan had his old swing arm, so I bought that off him. I've already done one aluminium welding job to fix that. I'll probably need another because this was 2 years ago and I've ridden it 15,000 Ks from then, so I probably need to re-weld it. That's probably been the biggest problem. It eats the chain, ruins the sprockets. I've been through a lot of chain and sprockets and swing arms because of that, but I don't want to change it and I don't care. It's not that big of an issue. I'll sort it. Technic suspension, fantastic. Stock suspension is a little too weak. Technic suspension, absolutely brilliant. Will 100% say it is worth it. I think Go Race in America do a good kit, but Technics in Australia, if you can. If you got a WR and you like doing shit, hitting whoops and jumps and shit, you need it. I've had a Safari tank, 15 litre. I had some issues. I think it was with my piping and not actually the Safari tank, but I never used to be able to use the bottom amount. So I used to only get 280 Ks worth it, maybe 300 if I was lucky. Switched the IMS tank, and now I get 350, maybe 400 Ks out of it. It's freaking brilliant. DMK Designs do these stickers. I must have got a dud one because it's bubbling like crazy, but it looks really nice. The tail rack. This is custom. So a lot of WR people will know the Skags rack, the black aluminium rack. It's brilliant. I had one and then I broke it. I carry a lot of weight on the back to the point where I broke my subframe 2 years ago. This rack is basically the Skags rack.
I got someone to make it. My friend Tristan helped me in making this, and it's twice as thick as a Skaggs rack. And that has had so much weight on it that the subframe broke and not the rack. So it's brilliant now, but it's custom, so you can't buy it. What else? Double take mirrors, Oxford heater grips. These are my second set. I've literally just redone the handlebars in the last month or so. Everything was worn out and looked kind of worn, so I did new lights, new buck buses. These are Jets. I used to have Egos, Jets. I like Jets better. New Oxford heater grips, same heater grips. They were completely smooth because I'd worn them so much. New ones, obviously quad lock, gotta have that. I have a Righteous Stunt clutch, which has got a Delrin kind of bearing in it, and it's really smooth and nice. These bars, I had Pro Tapers, and I've always liked KTM bars, and I could not find the bend for the life of me in KTM bars in either Renthal or Pro Taper. So I just went, frig it! I just went to KTM's stock and bought these are the exact bars on my 690 and my 500 EXC. That's the bars, and they're brilliant. What else? Wolfman tank bag, always had that. That is also 10 years old, and been on every single trip. Wolfman make the best shit. They kind of make weird waterproof looking ones now. They don't make these nice ones anymore. I wish they did, but that is the best. What else? B&B bash plate, some pegs from somewhere that are blue. What else? Oh, almost nothing with the engine. That's untouched, really. Oh, my custom subframe. So it's now painted black, and it's got solid pieces in where the weak points were, so it's a lot stronger than factory. Brakes are still standard. Gearbox is still original. Engine is completely still original. Not much to say, man. It's just going good. Very little issues with it.
So maintenance stuff. I've done fork seals a couple of times. Since getting Technics, I've only blown one set of fork seals since I got the Technics. They seem to be a little bit stronger. The original ones I blew all the time. It was from my dumb shit wheelies. Honestly, it's nothing to do with the bike, really. Also, before 2019 Simpson trip, I pulled the clutch out and I got Yamaha to replace the clutch. When they did that, they said, your clutch looks brand new. And I said, bullshit. I've been doing wheelies for years. Terrible clutch up wheelies. No way my clutch is still fine. They're like, it's fine. But they replaced it anyway. And I still have the original clutch ditch and they do look fine. So the clutch is freaking strong on it. Outside of that, man, mate, you just buy the thing and ride it, man. I've been running D606 tires since like a week after buying it. Got rid of the Death Wings. I have tried some Moto Z's. They're good. I'm just so used to freaking D606s though. They're just my thing, man. I don't know why. I just know when they slide. I know when they grip. They're just my thing, man. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick with 606s for a bit. But yeah, Moto Z's are good too. We did get a lot of Ks out of the last trip, but 60,000 Ks of the WR. I don't really know. Woo! Woo! I don't really else know what to do with it. Just ride the thing. Keep enjoying it. Like, I always feel like I need to like change things on it or buy new things for it, but mate, 10 years on, just what a bike. What a good purchase when I walked in Yamaha 10 years ago today. Can't believe it, man. Like, that I'd still be riding the thing after all the adventures and shit that we've done, all the traveling that I've seen. I've probably camped on this thing 100+ nights, and it has just been brilliant. 60,000 Ks of all fun riding. I've never commuted on this bike. I've always had other road bikes at the time, so this bike has always just been a recreational toy, man. So 60,000 Ks of literal fun for the cheap price of $9,000 Australian back in 2014. I couldn't have asked for freaking better, mate. Couldn't have asked for better. Can't have a freaking video about freaking WR without a freaking wheelie. It's done a lot of these in 10 years. The old 10,000 RPM second gear wheelie, can't be freak changing gears. It's done a lot of them. This is the joy of the WR, is that you do dumb stuff on it. Oh my god, that was so messy.